So I'm going to start recording now. Yes, but to answer your question, Chris, yes. So now I'm going to join Facebook and then we'll get going.
I guess the question is, and I could probably find it somewhere, but where can I find Tuesday's recording?
You won't be able to find Tuesday's recording yet. What I would recommend that you do is wait until Friday. And then you can go into our YouTube channel and you can access all of the videos.
And that's MC 1002, right?
Correct, yes. Oh, you know what? It doesn't allow me to go. Can you go in, Robert?
Yeah, if I go Facebook Live, it'll live on my Facebook.
Oh, shoot. Yeah. Okay. We won't have to go. We won't go live then. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll share and we'll get started. But it's recorded.
Yeah.
All righty. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
That's not what I want to do. All right, so what I'm going to do is just go over the objective of what we're going to do today. So this is just highlighting everything that we're going to cover, and then I'll backtrack and start from the beginning and go through everything. So this just gives you a good dial-in of what we're going to cover today. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know and we'll just go. So today what we decided, Robert and I, which first of all, I have to say this, and I don't want anything, Robert, but I do have to say this. It has been such a pleasure to partner with Robert and to tag team on just everything that we're doing tech related. I feel like we're in a good spot synergy wise. We're collaborating, we're sharing, you know, our expertise on various aspects. And so I think that we together have combined our skills to make sure that we are helping you as the agent. So I don't know if you feel that way, but I do feel like Robert and I are at a good, you know, good spot. So I don't know if you want to comment about that, or I'm not soliciting any praise. I'm just saying I appreciate you, Robert, and thank you.
It's just a really good yin-yang kind of situation. Where I don't yin, she does, and where she doesn't yang, I do. So it's, I mean, we fill in each other's gaps. So that it's really good that way. So
awesome.
You guys make a good team.
Well, thanks, Anne. So today we decided to take a break from BYOCC. Not that we're taking a break from the content, but what we wanted to do was hit pause and take the time to really focus on a couple of things that will allow you to track for success. So what we're going to do is talk from contacts to opportunities and how you manage the in-between. So we're going to focus on a couple of things. The first thing that we're going to talk about is what we need from you to double check as it relates to making sure that your image or photo is on the KWRM website. So again, we're just going through what we're going to talk about, and then we're going to break all of these things down. So the couple of things we want to focus on is your image saved on command? We will walk you through that process in just a minute. We'll tackle 3 key things: profile settings, marketing profile, and making sure that you toggle the image so that it is live on your agent website. So again, this is just talking in broad terms about what we're going to do, and we'll get into the actual details shortly. Then we're also going to have 2 videos that we're going to highlight today, which are create an opportunity and then how to archive mark an opportunity. And Robert will pick up after that. And what Robert will focus on is contacts to opportunities. So he will walk you through that whole entire process from contact opportunities, creating a room within DocuSign, checklists, documents, location of office forms. The one thing that we will stress, and that I'm stressing now, is once we get into that, Robert's going to talk about if an offer unfortunately is rejected, how do you handle that? What do you do? At any point in time, you definitely want to make sure that you first and foremost contact your BIC for guidance. So he will reiterate that in a later point in the session, but I just wanted to be upfront and say that now. Then what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the KWRM/BIC guidance. So there is a document that I recently acquired that will give you that file path, if you will, of making sure, you know, from a compliance perspective, working with your BIC, that you have all the necessary things to make sure your closing is as smooth as possible. The bottom line is we want to get you paid and paid as soon as possible. So I will share that document today. I will also email that document to you, as well as it will be on a week at a glance coming out this Friday. Let's begin. So I'm going to stop sharing and go into another spot. And then can you all see my desktop? Okay, just want to make
Yes.
sure. Okay, and I need to move this. Go back to this. Okay, so a couple of things. The first thing that I want to do is I want to reiterate marketing profile and why we're asking you to do this. If you have not looked at it, we, as Keller Williams Realty Maui, has a website. Within that website, we have images of all of our agents. Unfortunately, some of your images are not auto-populating. The reason is because you may not either have uploaded your image to your profile and or marketing profile, or you may not have toggled your image and content so that it does go live. So those are the three things. So what I would love for everyone to do that is on the call right now is literally go through this with me. So just to make sure, we're going to follow those 3 steps, and then I want to make sure that you guys have all of that correct, because the reason why we're doing this is because we want to help you. We want to help your branding. And what better way to help your branding than to have your image? I know some of you may not like it, but what better way to brand yourself is to make sure that your image is showing or auto-populating on the KWRM website. So here we go. For those of you that are joining us or either listening to the recording, log into Command. So everyone, if you could log into Command if you have not already done so, and I'll give you a few minutes to do that. So once you're into Command, you'll see the welcome screen or whatever you're in if you're already into Command. The first thing we want to look at is this. Within the avatar on the right-hand side, you want to click that triangle more. You want to go into profile. That's the first one that you're checking. Again, we're just checking. Most of you on this call and that follow us on a consistent basis, I know you have done this. If you do not see an image here where I'm hovering, you need to click on edit profile and add that. So if you see your image there, you are good. But make sure, I would encourage you to have an actual image of you. I know some people have had images of the KW or KW logo or KW, you know, versions of that. It would be ideal if you could actually have your picture. So that's the first thing. Any questions or comments about that part first? Yes, Lucy.
Hi, so sorry. I didn't see
No
your
worries.
cursor. I didn't see your cursor moving, so I'm on Command on my other laptop. I
So
don't
did
know
you,
where
okay,
you
no
went.
worries. So when I move my cursor, you're going to see it says change profile photo. Do you see that?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I mean by cursor. So when I remove it, you don't see it. So I just want to make sure that you have your image there. Is your image there, Lucy?
I'm not in the same page. That's why I'm gonna try to follow.
Okay,
I'm not
no worries.
into this page here.
Okay, so hold on. Let me back up. So let me hit KW.
Okay.
Or go to home.
Okay.
Maybe. My internet's a little slow, so just to bear with me. And go back into Command. I've got several different features. Okay, so now we're at the home screen. Are you there?
Yes.
Okay, So at the home screen on the top right side, you see your picture, your avatar, and then it says Lucy. You see that on the right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So then that drop down triangle,
Okay.
I went to profile. You see that?
Yes.
Okay. So then that's
I'm
where
there.
Okay.
Okay.
Yay!
Sorry.
No, no,
Remember
no,
that-
no, no.
that pathway. Remember that pathway, Lucy, because we're going to use it again. We're going to go back into that again. So.
Okay. Thank you.
No worries. So then just making sure that your image is here. So that's the first step. Okay, everyone else, the second step is this. Go back into your avatar on the top right, not profile this time, but go into settings. So if everyone can go into settings for me, and mine will pop up in a minute. From settings, you should see this screen. Let me know if you don't see this, but you should see this screen. On the left-hand side, awesome, Lucy. On the left-hand side, you'll see general settings, command settings, connect settings. You want to click that arrow, go into marketing profile. There are two things you're looking for. Number one, you want to make sure your photo is showing where it says my photo. The second thing you want to do is make sure that this part is toggled on where it says use my information to brand my agent site. That's all you need to do. If you have those three things, we love you. If you don't have those things, but you have them now, we love you too. Awesome.
I got a quick note on that. Use my information to brand my agent
Yes,
site.
yes, yes.
So the reason that KWRI put that button in was so that if for any reason you guys are, for whatever reason it's happened across the country, you're not in compliance, we can run in real quick and turn that switch off, and then none of your stuff is loaded on the web. So just make sure it's on for right now, and if ever in the future somebody yells at you, you're not in compliance, you know where to go to shut everything down. And it's just a light switch, basically.
Any comments or questions?
So question means that the KW platforms command has access to all agent inside.
Yes.
Is that correct? Okay.
Yes, yes. And again, as Robert mentioned, it helps us be in compliance. So just making sure those three things are covered. Awesome. Okay, so I'm going to now go into the videos, which is going to segue into what Robert's going to talk about shortly. And I need to move my view. All right, so the first one actually, video I want to see or show you is a recap of how to create an opportunity. Then we're going to do a quick video of how to archive, and then Robert's going to walk you step by step. So can everyone see that screen?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So this is the first one, how to create an opportunity.
Hey there, Keller Williams. This is Bryson from KWU, and today we'll be learning how to create an opportunity. Opportunities is the system that we use to track our current and potential transactions within Command. Each opportunity starts at the cultivate phase, where you can track an opportunity before you have even set an appointment, and will be tracked all the way through to the closed phase after being approved for compliance and commissions. The Opportunities Applet allows you to track everything involved with the transaction, from activity checklists and offer management to potential commission income and compliance. So let's get started by logging into agents.kw.com with your Keller Williams login credentials. Once you're logged in, click the Opportunities icon on the left sidebar. Next, click Create Opportunity at the top right of the page. Now that we have the Create Opportunity form in front of us, let's go ahead and review some of the fields. If you're part of more than one market center, you'll make that selection from this dropdown. If this is a team opportunity, you can make that selection from this dropdown as well. Next, you will select the opportunity type from this dropdown. The options are listing, buyer, landlord, or tenant. From here, we will select the client this opportunity is for. You can just type out the name and select it from the results. And I also want to mention that every opportunity is required to be assigned to a contact that already exists in your command database. After that, we will name the opportunity. And as you can see, the client's name as well as the opportunity type has already pre-populated the opportunity name, but you can add some more information if you like. If you want to make your opportunity easier to find, you can select a custom tag that you've created. To do so, just click the drop down and make your selection here. After that, you can set your estimated close date if you like, but it is not required. Next, you will move on to the estimated listing price. Now, this information isn't required to be entered in, but it does drive the volume insights that you do see. Once that field is completed, you can move on to the commission rate. Now, although this field is required to be entered in upon creating the opportunity, you can definitely come back and change this information if you need to. After you have entered in your commission rate, you can move on to selecting your opportunity phase. Now, depending on how far along you are in the transaction, that will determine the phase that you're currently in. And to dig a little deeper, you will then select a stage within the phase that you're in. Now, after this form is completed and you've confirmed that this is the information you want entered in, click Create. And after your opportunity has been created, you can manage the opportunity as the transaction progresses. For more resources, click the question mark in the top right-hand corner of your screen, click Keller Williams University, and use the search. Thank you. Why stop now? Click one of these videos.
All right, so that's the first one. Any comments or questions before we go to the second one? And then Robert's going to take over and actually walk you through that with some more tips.
I'm going to show you another way to add it. If you already got the contact in there, there's also another way that's pretty easy to add the opportunity as well. So there's more than one way to add it.
Awesome. Okay, so one more and it will be the Robert show. Oops. So this next one is how to archive or mark an opportunity. Everyone see that?
Hey Keller Williams, it's Paul with KWU, and today we're going to learn how to mark an opportunity as lost or archive an opportunity. As you're creating and managing opportunities in Command, an opportunity or deal that you're working might fall through, or you might make a mistake and have to recreate an opportunity. In these cases, we have a couple ways to remove these. First, you can mark an opportunity as lost. You'll do this if the opportunity you're working on falls through for any reason. Using AI, we're working to build insights around lost opportunities that will eventually help you identify when and why these deals are falling through. Next, you can archive an opportunity. You'll do this if you make a mistake and have to recreate an opportunity, or maybe you ran some test opportunities through the system and now you want to remove them. You can archive these, and these will not affect any future insights that we come out with. To get started, we're going to go to agent.kw.com and log in with your KW login credentials. Then, from the Command homepage, go to the left side of the page and click on the Opportunities icon. Now, we need to find the opportunity to remove them, so click on the phase where the opportunity lives. Now, we'll start with marking an opportunity as lost. So you can do this in any of the 5 phases, and what you'll do is click on the name of the opportunity, and at the top right of the opportunity details, you'll see a lost opportunity toggle. Go ahead and click that. It'll want you to save that lost opportunity status, and it updates. Also, there's a lost opportunity field that appears at the top. You can click the pencil icon and actually write a reason why this opportunity was lost. Once you type in the reason, click Save, and you're ready to go. Next, we'll show you how to archive an opportunity. So the first thing to remember when archiving an opportunity is, because this is for tests and mistakes, you can't actually archive an opportunity in the under contract or closed phases. So say you have an opportunity that you need to archive and it's in one of these phases, you'll need to click and drag it to either the active, appointment, or cultivate phases. We'll send this one to active. We'll go to the active phase, and here we see the opportunity. Now, to archive it, we'll go to the three dots at the top right of the opportunity card and choose Archive Opportunity. It'll have us confirm, so we'll click Archive, and you'll see it removed from your pipeline. Now, keep in mind, you'll always be able to restore an archived opportunity if you go to your name at the top right of the page, choose Settings, choose Command Settings, and then Opportunity Archive. Click the Date Archived section, and you can sort this by when it was actually archived, and we can always click to restore. That puts it right back in our pipeline where it was before we archived it. In addition, you can go back to the Opportunities applet, and you have an All Opportunities search. This is every opportunity you've ever created, whether it's archived, whether it's marked as lost, closed. You can always find any archived or lost opportunity in this list, and you'll be able to reverse those. Keep in mind, to find archived opportunities here, you'll need to use filters and use the Include Archived Opportunities toggle. For more information, you can go to the question mark at the top right of any page in Command, click Keller Williams University, and use the search.
Thanks for watching. We have more awesome videos.
All right. So I am now going to turn it over to Robert. He's going to walk you through in detail contact to opportunities. And then once he's done, I'll jump back in and talk about the KWRM/big guidance that we want to communicate.
Oh, cool. All right. So that some of those went in a little bit deep. Terry, I saw you looking at it. I was watching you, and it was like, oh, good Lord, this is kind of going in a little deep. And I kind of feel that way too. I don't know if you did or not, so I don't know if my assumption was correct, right?
Well, it's
yeah. I know exactly what you're thinking, right?
Well, I was going back and forth between listening to him and watching my screen, and I got to where he went to the opportunity archive page. I get that. Yeah. But then when he was showing like his next screen, I don't know how he got there.
Here's kind of the thing I can tell you. With your iPhone or your Android, whichever you have, how much of it do you use? Do you think you use it 100%? You use everything that's on it, or you just use what you need? You really just kind of use what you need, and then you learn other stuff as you go along. So that's right. How you have to get your mindset around these opportunities just a little bit. We'll get you started with what you need, and as you do that, then you let your mind expand a little bit. Don't try and chew all of the bubble gum at one time. You'll choke on it.
Okay.
It happens to me. So let me share my screen. I saw a thumbs up from Lucy, right? Okay. Too much. I heard you. I heard you. So let me share my screen here. Share this one. Let me know if you can see it with a thumbs up.
Yes.
Does that work? Okay. Well, that's not the screen I want to share, but can you see this screen back here now?
Yes.
All right. So we're going to revisit Barney Rubble. Barney Rubble's our friend, right? He likes to buy houses. He's one of our contacts already. So when Bryston was talking or Paul was talking, one of the two, you can't create an opportunity without first having a contact. So you have to have them in a contact to create an opportunity out of them. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right. So the rule of thumb is if you're creating a opportunity what time frame do you think would be a good time frame for you and your business if somebody's ready to transact, to put them into opportunities to watch, to track your business through the pipeline? Any guesses? Go ahead and speak up. It's fine. Nobody's wrong.
Immediately.
Okay. Terry?
Right away.
Right away. Okay, so here's the rule of thumb that I've heard from a lot of people. If the contact is going to transact within the period of a year, then they're hotter than the fish pond that is your contacts that you'll be calling and touching base with. The idea is to get those people into opportunities, find out who's within a year to transact, and start watching your pipeline there. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah, because if you put everybody in opportunities, it just becomes your CRM. And CRM is good for, I call it the fish pond, right? It's all your contacts and leads and prospects. But then when you get into communication with them and you're able to find out they want to transact within a year, I need to pay more attention to them. So I need to track them a little bit differently and move them through phases and maybe schedule certain marketing to go out to them rather than just the standard stuff that I do with my regular contacts. So inside of Barney Rubble, all of a sudden he's decided that he wants to go out and look at homes. So he was in my contact CRM, right? The CRM part. And I went into his contact card. I clicked on opportunities up here in the contact card, which is the other way that you can do it, right? You don't have to go into opportunities over here to do it there. You don't have to. Once you're in Barney Rubble, you can say create an opportunity, right? And it'll bring up that same thing as if you were inside of the other one. But inside the contact card, it knows that you're going to create an opportunity for Barney Rubble because you're already there. If you just go into opportunities, it looks at your whole database and says, well, which one do you want to use? And then you have to search it out. So this is a way to, Barney's going to buy a house, so let's put him in, and I put him in the active phase and the stage he's searching, right? So, and I saved it. I didn't put a whole lot of information in there. So if we go over here. And
Hey, Robert, I'm sorry. Where did you where'd you click on for create an opportunity?
This little button right up here that says create opportunity with the plus sign.
Okay, I probably just have to open up my screen more.
Yeah.
You have to click opportunities on the top first, Han.
Okay. Yeah. Opportunities and then create an opportunity. Yeah. Okay. I didn't have my screen up.
Sure. And another thing that is not super intuitive is that the timeline, opportunities, smart plans, tasks, notes, and saved searches, all those are tabs, and they're not really underlined, so you don't really know it. But once you figure out you get a 1 next to an opportunity, or you have a 1 next to a smart plan, you start to be able to see that, okay, I've got somebody on a smart plan, I've got somebody in an opportunity. Maybe both, right? So to get into the opportunities, we're looking for Rubble buyer, right? And he's in the active phase in the searching stage. Got it? We're going to go into opportunities. I apologize for my cat. She always bugs me. So Barney's a buyer, and he's in the active phase, right? So we're going to look in the active phase. I know I've got 4 in there. And there's Rubble buyer in the searching phase. So right now, I'm set him up on an MLS search, and he's searching, stuff for Barney Rubble. All of a sudden, Barney calls me back and says, hey, I just went and looked at this house without you because you were busy doing a Zoom meeting. And he goes, I want to put an offer in on it. So all of a sudden, Barney moves from cultivate over to showing. He's already done showing, so he's moving over under contract. Do you see how easy that works? You move him over into negotiations now, because we're going to go into zip forms and do all of our purchase agreement stuff, get it all signed off, and it will be attaching here at some point, right? So Does that make sense? Do we have any questions here? No? Oh, shh. My cat's being loud. Can you guys hear him?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
That's okay. There's no problem.
He wants to hear you, so hush. So,
It's fine.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah. She's a happy cat. She talks a lot. So if we want to go into Barney Rubble, so I see people kind of moving around and maybe they're clicking on the task items down here and they're getting into the wrong thing, or they're going to these dots, and you can go to the dots and look there, but normally I just click on the name, Barney Rubble, and that brings up Barney's opportunity into the details piece, right? So this is kind of what was set up for you when you added him from a contact into opportunities automatically. You don't, all of this stuff is added in, but if you notice, there's some pukas in here that aren't really set up. And like I put in a 3% commission, you know, it could change. I could go down to a 2.5. So how do I change that? Hit the pencil button at the top of that panel. Each panel has a pencil button. So let me close that and do it again. Each one of these panels have a little pencil button, right? And that's just an edit symbol. We'll go in and let's say I wanted to add a custom tag to him, like he's a Maui person. Barney Rubble, there's no co-buyer. Let's say time frame, maybe he's 3 months out. Well, actually Barney's buying, so he's less than 3 months out. We'll say a month out, and we'll set the date for, all of these things are changeable. So you can go back in and play with it, or create a, I would create a Barney Rubble and, you know, play with it on your end, right? Questions on any of that? So the commission rate down here is 3. I could change it to 2.75. You know, everything's negotiable. You don't have to stay at a 3. You could go as high as 4, right? 5. Finance type, conventional, FHA. You just fill all that out, save it. And you see it updates right away. So questions? Am I going over anybody's head? Am I going too fast? Should I slow down? How are you doing?
No, that's great.
Okay. So let's say we filled out all this information for Barney, right? We've got as much as we know about him in there. And now we want to go into the documents piece. So we click on documents. Everybody see where that's at?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Click on documents, and then the folders come up. Consultation, buyer broker agreement, buyer's disclosure. Under contract, these are vertical tabs, so a little bit different to get used to. Under contract has a whole bunch of stuff that you can, cooperating broker agreement and addendums. If we go down to closed, here's all your contracted item pieces. So if you're using a TC, this is what your TC will be loading up for you, right? If you're doing it, if you're following it along on your own, which I would suggest the first time, kind of follow what the TC is doing, because they'll drop in the new timeline, and you know they'll be, of course, emailing you back and forth. But you can always go in here if you've given them access to it and kind of watch what they're doing. So it's not hard to do, but it can be overwhelming. You know, if you've got maybe 1 or 2 going at the same time, you know, both the last name, one is Smith and one is Jones, it's going to get really confusing, right? So we've got documents. So here's, if you go to transaction, most of you guys will have a button here that won't say sync transaction, and it won't say go to transaction, because I've already created the transaction or started the transaction. Your button here will say start a transaction. Start a transaction doesn't mean it's sending to the MC. Doesn't mean that you're sending it off to anybody. Nobody's going to see it. All you're doing is opening up a DocuSign room, right? That's what this is. This is not the room. This is just our checklist that lives outside the room for now. So if I say go to transaction, it's going to take me over, and every 24-hour period, I'm going to be forced to sign back into DocuSign as a security measure. And it should name the room Rubble Buyer. So this
Robert,
is a sign and this is a room. Question?
can I put a plug in here?
Yeah, please.
Just make sure that you have turned on or synced your DocuSign. So if you don't have your DocuSign attached to your command, then you won't be able to get to that next screen. So, or to the next prompting in terms of starting the transaction. So just make sure you have connected your DocuSign account to command. So that's all I wanted to stress.
Yeah. Should we back up? Should I back up and show you guys where that's at so we make sure? Or is everybody clear on where it's at? Yes, back up, or you're clear?
I'm clear.
Clear? Okay. Yeah. It's under the settings in command. So
Yeah, I don't know if I'm clear. I'm still pulling DocuSign documents from my personal account, not the company account.
all right. Yeah. Latasha and I have worked with a couple individuals who have had a paid for account. Is that right, Chris?
That's correct.
Yeah, so people that have had a paid for account using an other than KW email, and then switching into trying to turn on the other one using that same email because you just may want to. The process there is you're gonna have to deaden your paid for account. You won't lose the documents, but you'll have to put it on ice and then wait a period of time until DocuSign releases that email to be used on the KW Rooms account. So there's 3 different types of accounts with DocuSign. Signatory account A, signatory account B, and that's just a version difference. And then the third one is the Rooms piece. Keller Williams put together the B signature one, which is the newer one, and the Rooms piece. What we found a lot with people who have an existing account is they may not have updated it because it worked just fine for them, but they may have an older account that doesn't play well with the new account. So you won't lose any documentation. You will have to migrate it. They won't be able to merge them together. They don't do that. So that's kind of the path forward for you. That makes sense, Chris?
Chris.
Not really, but
That's my situation as well.
Your situation as well. So if you guys want to send an email into to Latasha at the Tech Concierge, we'll set up some time and go through it with you. So yeah, I went through it a little bit fast. It's not a hard process, but it's not a one button click either. So you want to say something?
It's tedious.
It is
So-
a bit tedious, yes.
So I guess the question I have, so right now I have whatever 30 active listings that are in my old DocuSign. Well, actually, no, they're in I'm sorry, they're in the other program. Okay, all right. So I can literally, I'd rather not repay for DocuSign come January.
Absolutely, yeah, I understood. There's a bunch of teams that are doing the same thing now too. I know some big teams that have 30, 40 transactions underway, and they're actually kind of mirroring right now because they're using zip forms or whatever zip forms mostly. And they're pulling that stuff over. They're leaving their historical behind and saving it off to maybe a Dropbox or some other storage method. But you can bring them over into DocuSign Rooms as well. We just haven't gone over that. It's too deep of a class for today. So.
And I haven't integrated zip forms either to either DocuSign accounts.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
I'm using just zip forms by itself and then saving the documents and then loading them back up into DocuSign.
Yeah, we'll be able to go over that with you after class because you can actually pull from zip forms or Google Drive computer. So for me, I do 1 or 2 at a time, right? I don't have as many going. So I'm usually downloading stuff to my computer and then uploading it into the room from my computer. So that's the easy, I guess layman's terms, that's the easy way to go, easy route to go. There are some more streamlined ways to go that might benefit you, and we can walk through some of that for you. Any other questions? Uh-oh, everybody froze.
We're still breathing.
All right, well, where are we at here? Latasha, help me. Where are we at? We're adding a document from my computer. Is pretty easy. It's going to be the same on Windows. You just put it in your downloads, and then you upload a computer to, or upload a, what is this? Okay, we'll just say that PDF, right?
Oh, and then so you're at creating a room with DocuSign and then checklists. Did you do a deep dive in?
We went through the
Okay.
checklist first, so.
And then office forms, letting them know in general where that is. And then the note about offer being rejected, and then I'll take over after that.
Yeah, the offer being rejected, I think we heard him say there's two different ways to work that. You can archive the opportunity, and then you can do whatever. But remember, once you send the MC and you have your BIC is actually looking at your signatures on your purchase contract and everything, they kind of get spun up at that point, at least knowing that there's an active deal underway. So my suggestion would be, if something falls out, immediately call your BIC and let them know that, you don't have to be on, pins and needles waiting for something that's probably not coming, because, and they might be able to help you through it and save it too. So I'm trying to think of what else. Let's go back to command, back into opportunities. This is the easy way to look at your opportunities, right? So looking at the pipelines, listings, and buyers. The other way to look at them is looking at all opportunities. So bear in mind, all opportunities will have a whole bunch. Stuff you've lost, stuff that's not even filled out. Once you start using it, you'll probably want to venture over into this and take a look at everything that you're doing. But for right now, I would worry more than anything about opportunities in just the regular view. This way, it's easier to know how many people you've got in Cultivate. You can click on it, and these are all just watchers, right? So people who've expressed interest. They may be a year and a half out. I go probably about a year and a half out. So it just depends on how you want to do it, how you want to track it. So I would say, it's going to benefit you to have them already in an opportunity, because it's really easy to take this guy here and put him under contract right away. It's just easier than having to scramble and have to do that piece already. I mean, sure, you can wait until the last minute and then all of a sudden upload a contact and then try and get him into under contract, and then it just becomes a bit more laborious, I guess, is what I would say. It's not as easy. It's not the way it's designed. The other thing here, if you look at if I'm in Cultivate, right? There's Cultivate, Appointment, Active, and under contract, and then closed. If I go here and I click the three dots, I can archive the opportunity. If I go over here under contract, oh, come on, do I have anybody under contract? I'm going to go back and take the, didn't I have Barney under contract?
You put him under active.
Ah.
Oh.
And I moved him somewhere. Hold on, let me find Barney here real quick, because I don't want to mess with any of the, oh, I know why.
Sort.
Yeah, it's, I think I put Barney in the team, it might be in the team view, right? All opportunities. Island key.
Yep.
Active. There's Barney. He's under active. If I click the button there, I still have the archive. If I move him over to under contract, Did I get him? I didn't get him there, did I? He dropped back down.
Nope.
He doesn't want to move.
Something went wrong by doing
Yeah.
this.
So what I was going to try and show you was anything past the active stage that's under contract or closed. When you hit these three dots up here, you don't get the archive. You only get the view details. So that's what they were talking about in that video. You don't get to archive here in under contract or closed. You'll have to drag this card back over to active, appointment, or cultivate. There's a bit of a digital gate that happens right there as far as reporting goes, and you just have to know that if you're under contract or closed, you can't archive it. You'll have to drag it back to active or before. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Usually you won't really get into that much, but I mean, I've had that question come up a few times in the last couple of years, so. That's about all I got, unless you guys got questions.
So any questions? And then I do want to share with you the document as it relates to compliance and what your BYOCCs want you to know. But before I do that, are there any questions from any of the participants today?
I don't have a question necessarily, but back to what Chris and Lucy brought up about merging from your paid DocuSign account to the KW DocuSign account. I would love it if you guys did a class on that, because I think a lot of us are in that same position.
Right, right. So did you have a paid for account, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And it's just the signature account. It's not a rooms account, right?
No, I can go into rooms too.
On your personal side.
Well, I mean, it's a DocuSign account that, you know, when I first needed DocuSign, KW wasn't offering a paid for account. So I signed up myself and paid for it. And then this last year I renewed it again, but I was able to integrate it into Command. I'm using it in Command.
That's odd. You hit the window that nobody else hit. So let's take a look at it. Give Latasha a call. Let's take a look at it and make sure it's operating correctly. You still see all of your older documents in there?
I think so. You know, quite honestly, I really hadn't been using the rooms. I was more of the old school that all my documents I download into my client's files on my computer, and then from there I load them into Command.
Right. Yeah, that's safe. That's the way I do it too. So.
Yeah, but I just don't want to keep having to renew it when KW's paying for it.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah.
I would say this, definitely send us an email, and then Robert and I will tag team and kind of put our heads together to see what type of class. The challenge with this is that it seems to be like nuances for each and every team. So there's no one set answer in terms of a fix.
Okay.
So we'll just have to be pretty broad in that class. So we can talk about that. Robert and I can talk about that offline and how we do that. But again, the most effective way that we've been able to mitigate and manage that is just having a one-on-one, and we just resolve it, because sometimes there's just, especially, you know, if it's a team or if it's an individual, there's so many moving parts and pieces that may be a little different or unique to others. So, but we'll talk about it and we'll definitely work towards it.
Okay.
But thank you so much for the suggestion, and we will add that to our next class series.
Yeah, the first thing that came to mind when she said that was, yeah, I'd love to do some one-on-ones with people and see if there's any scenario that's the same. Because I you know, so far all of them have been a little bit different. A BIC who uses a paid-for DocuSign account, and a whole bunch of agents that are emailing to that old email address, and now he wants to move to Command and not renew. That's one. And there's a host of others, right? So.
Wow.
Yeah.
Any other comments or anything? Robert, if you could stop sharing, so then that way I could share this document, and then we can go from there. Thank you. All right, so
So Robert, just to clarify quickly, so when I was setting up Command or KW, it basically said I had to use a different email address to create the company DocuSign account. So DocuSign doesn't allow me to have two accounts, one with KW and one paid.
No, it does. You just have to use different email addresses for each account. Yeah.
Okay, so I guess I created a new email. I had two emails, and I used a different email for Command, but it still doesn't seem to link up. I guess that's my issue.
Okay, yeah, there's a little bit of back and forth that goes on with authentication and authorization and all of that
Okay.
may have gotten missed or shoved to a maybe a junk folder or something. So
Okay.
we've seen that in the past too. So you might just try and disconnect it and try and reconnect it and do the authorization piece, and it may start.
I've got it.
Back and forth.
Kind of a related or unrelated question. I have basically all of my KW stuff is set up at chrishagmaui.com,
Okay.
which is it's tied to my chrishagmaui@gmail.com account.
Right.
And depending on, like, my constant contact all goes out under Chris@chrishagmaui. And so anyway, long story short, in Command, it only seems to pull the chrishagmaui@gmail. It doesn't pull the Chris@chrishagmaui emails.
So that would be a Gmail setting where if both of those are Gmail accounts, then
They're the exact same account with just different names.
well, one has to forward to the other. That's
Yeah,
how that
yes,
works.
the Chris@chrishagmaui forwards to chrishagmaui@gmail.
Okay.
Why?
Yeah.
Because that's what you're forwarding it to it, so that's what it's recognizing.
Okay, so, but it's only recognizing as far as Command pulling in our emails into activities, that we have had. It does not pull in any of the Chris@chrishagmaui emails
Into the timeline, right?
in the timeline, correct?
Yeah, because it's a forwarded email. I'll have to check on that. I'm not. They may be looking into that, but I don't know that there's a fix for that right off the bat.
Yeah, it's a huge issue because 80% of my stuff is being done at chrishagmaui, which isn't showing up in my Command activity notes.
Right. And if you switch it the other way, then you lose the timeline on the other, right? Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, let me ping. I'll ping Zach on that and see what he's found out, what he knows, because
Okay, that would be probably the biggest help for me in Command, because I'm just otherwise I'm just constantly just going back and having to check a name for all emails previously sent or received.
Okay, yeah, let me check on that for you, and I'll get back in touch with you or Latasha.
That sounds great. Thank you.
Anything else? So this document, can everyone see the document that's up?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So this is from Keller Williams Realty Maui in lieu of your BIC team. This is the compliance guide breakdown. So throughout the opportunity phase, I'm not going to read all this. I will send this to you. What this does is I'll just kind of walk you through a high level phase of it. So what it does is it walks you through from contact to opportunity, the things and the forms that you need to create and what needs to be included. So it goes through during the transaction, timelines, escrow instructions, attaching documents in Command, when it comes time to submit the file in Command, what you need to do, the key things you need to do. It talks about dual agency, if that applies to you, and then the dual agency for separate agents. So that's the first part. So I kind of highlighted them in segments in terms of throughout the opportunity phase, these first 6 things you want to make sure you're doing. And then 5 days from close, or it should say prior to close, this is what you need to focus on in terms of before the close. These are things that you need to do. Sending the email to the compliance@kw.com. The one thing that I will stress is when you are in command and you are ready to hit submit to MCA, please keep in mind that when you submit everything to go to the MCA, i.e. Shelby, that information is not being shared with compliance and or the BICS. That is information that specifically is going to Shelby directly. So you want to make sure that within that process, that 5 days prior to close, that you're emailing both your BIC and also your compliance email. That way you are ensuring that all of your documents get to the correct channel and get funneled appropriately. So I just didn't want to get anything confused. When you're in command, again, and you hit submit, in that final stage, submit to MCA, that goes to Shelby, not anyone else. I just want to be very clear about that. So these are additional steps or processes. And then finally, what that on the day of closing, what you need to do. And so if you have any other questions or comments throughout this process, it is recommended and encouraged by your BICS to actually call your BIC first before you do anything. I will send this out today, and also if you miss it, it will also be in a week at a glance tomorrow. So any overall comments or questions, I didn't want to go belabor it and read it out word for word because you can do that part, but hopefully this will guide you in the before 5 days to close, during the 5 days and to close, and then closing what you need to do. So it kind of breaks it up in segments. Any overarching comments, questions? Hopefully that'll give you a little more clarity moving forward about the compliance piece.
Yes, I have a question. So I just went through this. I just had a closing last Friday. And so I guess my question is, again, in the old world, the only time the MCA got involved was to do the green sheet. And are you saying that now we're supposed to submit all the documents to the MCA in addition to the compliance and our BIC?
No, what I'm saying is there is a compliance piece that we have started as KW Realty Maui. The reason why we've done this is because in times past, and Robert, you can jump in and add clarity to this, but what was happening was we were getting right up to the close and scrambling, trying to make sure that we were in compliance and had everything we needed to do to not only close it, but then also making sure that you as an agent received a check. And so the BICS took a step back and said, how can we streamline this process to make sure that throughout this process from contact to opportunities that we're mitigating as much as possible that last minute back and forth, as well as making sure that we're compliant and having all the information. So during this part of the process, this is communication between your BIC and also the compliance manager, which primarily it is the BIC that you're going to be corresponding with. Some people may have elected to communicate only via their BIC, and other people are doing a tandem thing where they're communicating before the close with the compliance manager to make sure that you have all your I's dotted, T's crossed before you get to the actual close date. Once you get to that close date, then yes, you still need to loop in the MCA to make sure that you get paid. But this is the process to make sure there's no issues in you getting paid. So I just wanted to kind of take a step back and stress that. Robert, you want to jump in?
A little note on that from me. Latasha is going to send this document out. What I would do is copy this document and send it to your BIC and schedule a time to talk to them about it. That's honestly what I would do, because they're the ones who have asked for this. They should be completely aware of this, and they should be able to explain it to you. Honestly, we all work for our BICs, right? I mean, we work for ourselves, but we have a broker in charge, and you have to be clear with them on what their process is too. So we're not here to tell you what that process is, other than to inform what we've been given to inform.
Okay, so that's kind of, I guess, where my issue was, is I use a couple different BICs, and so 5 days prior, I contacted Craig directly, and he's like, all you need to do is email me, copy the BIC that you're using, and let me know that all the documents are up in command. But I never, after getting the DA, I never had any communication with the MCA. So that's, you keep mentioning to contact the MCA to get paid. My understanding, the compliance officer is the one that notifies and copies the BIC to the escrow company to get paid. The MCA is not involved after writing the DA.
That's likely correct. Yeah, you're correct with that, Craig. But where we have to be very careful here is us being command, kind of instructors, teachers, is we can't dive too deep into process because I've had my hand slapped a couple of times by saying something, and then a BIC came back to me and kind of baby shook me and said, "What the heck are you doing?" You need to tell them to talk to their BIC. So I've taken that stance. It's easier for me to say, yeah, just talk to your BIC.
So there's one thing I want to clarify to Chris. So the one thing I do want to clarify is this: when you're in command only, disregarding this, I'm going to actually take this out so we're not pointing to anything. When you're in command only and you're not operating with communication with your BIC or anyone else, there is a feature that says submit to MCA. That is what I was referring to in terms of you eventually you do have to, in order to close that account, you do have to submit that button. How you do that and when you do that is up to your BIC. What I was trying to communicate is that now we're taking a step back and adding something that is outside of command to make sure that everyone is in compliance. So sorry if that wasn't clearly communicated, but this new process is outside of command leading up to getting command involved for that final, send, if that makes sense. So sorry if that was unclear.
Okay, so to clarify one last time, we do have to click the submit to MCA after compliance and the BIC have signed off on it.
Yes, you do, because otherwise the MCA won't have a record of that and it won't be tracked to our market center as a whole.
Okay, so again, being an analytical, and again, I understand where Robert's coming from. You really don't want to give too much direction, but maybe something to the effect that compliance and the BIC need to approve everything, prior to you clicking the submit to MCA and get paid.
Exactly, yes.
So,
it's your pre-test before the test.
And that is subject to the BIC that you have.
Exactly.
So you say
Yeah.
BIC. So,
Yeah, they're giving you the green light to hit that button in command. How about that? Is that good? So thanks for your patience and clarifying that. Oh, I'm sorry, Chris, did you have another comment?
I said all good.
Okay, awesome. Okay, awesome. Any other comments or questions? Thank you so much for participating. We will get this recording out shortly. And then Robert, since it was on your Zoom, thank you for rescuing me.
I got work to do, huh?
Yeah, send it to me so I can get it uploaded and get it out to everybody. So.
And Latasha, I thought you had
Yes.
one other item that you were going to discuss, and that was if you have an offer rejected.
Oh, Robert already talked about that. So it's just, yeah,
Okay.
the overarching thing that both him and I would stress is that if you get in that situation, immediately contact your BIC and walk through whatever the process is they want you to walk through. So
And I
long
know,
story short for us, oh, go ahead.
I know the office just sent out, that I think it was our office, sent out the document that there is that one signature line on the bottom, the last page of the purchase contract that must be signed when you have a rejection of the offer.
Yeah. There used to be one in office forms too, where there was a acceptance of termination of offer. So I know that my BIC was Marion, or is Marion, and she had me go and try and fill that out with another agency, and I had a heck of a time getting them to fill it out. And they did finally fill it out, and that, you know, just it covers everybody's rear end, I guess. Yeah. Being a contract state.
All right, well, thanks everyone, and we'll get this recording out soon. And if you
Can't hear you.
You were a little bit light on volume.
Can you hear me now?
Nothing.
Go like this.
You bet.
See you guys.
See ya.
Robert?
Bye. Thank you.
Robert,
Yes.
can you text me a time when we can finish up that paid ad?
Sure.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Appreciate you guys. Bye-bye.